Welcome to my channel. I'm Dr. Romano. Now, as to the government debt, that $30 trillion, that $30 trillion could be paid off within a couple of years, let's say 5 years. Before we continue the video, please remember to do thumbs up. It's right there. Just click it to say thank you. Thank you so much. If you calculate right now how much the U.S. imports from other countries, and you simply put a flat rate tariff on that without trying to say this country gets that percent, that country gets this percent, etc. All you have to do is put a flat rate tariff on all imports, and that money will go to pay off the deficit. Think about how much that will be. Think about how we could rebuild America with that tariff percent, with the income that comes from that tariff. You see, you have to understand global politics and American politics. In the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, the US government said, we will help you, we will lend you money, but you have to buy our products. And so that's why we had the manufacturing boom and by the 1950s and 60s. But by the 1970s, it was apparent that the countries that were devastated by the war, they didn't need funding. And so it caused our manufacturing sector to hit its peak in the 1960s, late 1960s, early 70s. And that's when you started to get all the layoffs. Those of you who were old enough to live through the 70s, maybe that was your heyday, it was really difficult and it was very hard to find a job and make ends meet. Then you had the government raise interest rates like they're doing today. It's interesting how they keep changing the cycle with interest rate changes. And because of interest rates affect the dollar value, how strong was the dollar back then as well? Was it intentional to prop up interest rates because of that change that was happening? I believe so. So now the US government was lending money to governments, but you have to buy our products. Then the next stage and the next cycle was, we will protect you if you do what we want, and you could sell products in our country. Again, another cycle happened, but that cycle has now ended. Okay? Because of the $30 trillion debt that the US government has, they could no longer run the government based on borrowing money from themselves to defend other countries. And you have to remember, there's a lot of people with their hands in their pocket. The military, weapons company, everyone makes money. But it's up to the government to change. And the government always changes at the last minute. This is why they're increasing interest rates, because they don't want other people to be worried about them being able to pay that loan off. Remember, the government's debt is different than our debt. A typical person will have credit cards and they'll want to pay off their credit card. But in the government's perspective, all they need to do is pay the interest. Because in 50 years from now, that $30 trillion will be pennies. So even if they don't put up tariffs, it will still get paid off. Now, as for what is happening now, because the US government can't handle borrowing money anymore, and it's kind of tipping the scale, what they're doing now is bringing back manufacturing once again. And all that money that is created in the US, it will be paying off the government's debt and the bills, etc. But you have to also remember that they can't pay that debt off too fast, because then the dollar value will rise. And for sure, no one will buy our products. Not that we need any other country to buy our products for the first 15 years, but after the 15 years, you have so much manufacturing in the US that it becomes apparent that if you want to grow more, you'll have to sell your products outside the country. And so that's why I say that the cycle is literally 25 years on average. If you keep going back in time, it's around 30 years, but I say 25 years. in order for the economy to be affected. We're just using this as an example. I don't know anyone from the government. I'm just making an example of what is really going on based on what I see on the charts. And so I want to thank you so much for watching my video. Please remember to subscribe if you like my channel, my content, and please do thumbs up. It's right there. It doesn't bite to click that button to say thank you.